If there's enough money to talk about taxing it, there must also be a demand for it as well. Again, talking about what's going on out there in the state of Florida. So there was a candidate that pretty much proposed a 50% tax on OnlyFans creators. If you guys don't know what OnlyFans is, most people should know what it is by now. OnlyFans is pretty much an internet content subscription service where creators are able to monetize their content they post on there to their fans pretty much to have access for it. To me personally, the way that I say it is pretty much a digital online prostitution site for people. People may say, well, you can also post things such as, lesson plans and, private master classes or whatever for your fans, for people that has huge bases or whatever. Just link up with Masterclass. Just go to Masterclass. It's something out there for that. Nobody's really using OnlyFans for that reason. They're using it for things such as, like I mentioned before, to pretty much show their goods online, for people to pretty much pay and buy for it. It pretty much leans to pornography. You just fall into pornography, and for your own self-entertainment. A lot of men are ones that are commonly buying such subscriptions and paying tons of money and damaging their families. I'm talking about middle-aged men that are buying such subscriptions, investing into such things. And again, like I said, the most of their money, their FAFSA year money is not coming from people that are making content focusing on health or anything of the sort. No, the content is coming from things such as, like I've mentioned before. Speaking of their FAFSA year 2024, OnlyFans reached reportedly breaking numbers. Their gross pay was around 7.22 billion on their platform, reaching pretty much representing 9% increase over the last previous year. Statistical data. The reason why I mention these statistical data is because there's a huge problem, just not when it comes to our society, of young men and people that are going to such sites like this. It's the reason why I mentioned this report. It kind of is that launch pad in relationship to what I want to talk about. Another thing is because of what young men are, just women and men that are experiencing things within the local church. There's a contrast that I want to look at between the general population versus those within the local church. Going into my second point of today's topic, focusing on why the local church, it's important for us to understand that there are even men and women that are in our churches that are experiencing struggles with pornography, that are falling to such sites such as this. Again, OnlyFans are making billions of dollars. It's coming from somewhere, and it's coming from people, and sorry to say, it can be coming from people also from the church as well that are falling, that are dealing with this struggle continuously. So to touch on that, I want to mention the statistical data in relationship to the general population and also the participation of Christians. Studies show that practicing Christians that identify themselves as a Christian, that attend the local church regularly, and state their faith is very important to them. These are these type of folks. They view pornography at slightly lower rates than the general population, of course, but the numbers are not that drastically from each other. So when it comes to the general population, around 61 to 68%, practicing Christians around 45%. I want to note that while 45% of practicing Christians are reportedly viewing pornography, roughly around 22% are reporting viewing it in the last week. This information that I'm stating here comes from Pure Desire Ministries, and also from major reports from the Brianna group as well. I also want to mention when it comes to age as a major factor as well when it comes to this. There are statistics that supports the fact that when it comes to young people around ages 18 to 24, there are around 76% of young Christians, adults that are recordedly actively searching for pornography. There's also statistics that supports that around 53% of practicing Christians around ages 18 to 34 are reported having to send a nude or some sexual explicit image in a text group or app, which is also interesting according to such resources. So the problem is, regardless of those two sources that I've mentioned there, many other sources support this as well. It shows you that there is a problem within our local churches that young people around ages 18 to 24 are dealing with such issues within our churches. And now to the point where different states are deciding to put tax on the creators, though it's interesting that they're putting tax on the creators, I would like to say that, yes, it's a problem with people making such content like that, selling their bodies. It's a whole other issue. But the thing about it, who are funding such creators? Who are funding, these people? Well, the people who are funding these people are people that are dealing with these struggles, that are choosing to take money. I've heard stories of people taking money out of their own family accounts and, making separate accounts. I call it financial infidelity, taking it out of the pool, making separate accounts, paying for such things like this, which is unfortunate. And some of them are Christians.